The human was injured defending the cubs. Now they snarl at anyone who raises their voice around her. The medical bay of the Stellaris outpost had never been so tense. Dr. Kith, a veterinary physician, stood frozen at the entrance, watching his patient, the human Arya Ven, resting on the recovery bed, her torso wrapped in regenerative bandages. The plasma burns that had seared through her left side should have killed her. But humans, Kith was learning, did not subscribe to logic. What gave him pause wasn't the human's survival. It was the 6 Vicari cubs positioned around her bed like a living fortress. Their fur bristled with tension. Their eyes tracked his every movement. And Torin, the eldest at barely 9 solar cycles, stood at the foot of Arya's bed with his lips pulled back, revealing developing fangs. "I need to check her vitals," Kalisa said carefully, keeping his voice soft. Torin's growl rumbled through the deck plating. "It's all right." Arya's voice came out rough. She shifted slightly, wincing. "Torin, down." The cub didn't move. His ears flattened, but his protective stance remained. Kel had studied 17 species of pack predators. He recognized a guard animal when he saw one. What unnerved him was that Torin wasn't an animal. He was a sentient being from a species renowned for diplomatic grace. The Vicari had given the galaxy some of its finest mediators and scholars. Yet here was Torin reverting to something primal. "Perhaps I should return later," Keleth suggested. "No." Arya tried to sit up and immediately regretted it. 3 cubs rushed to her side, making worried chirping sounds. "I'm fine." She looked at Torin firmly. "Let the doctor do his job." Torin stepped aside reluctantly, his eyes never leaving Keleth's hands. As the doctor approached with his scanner, one of the smaller cubs pressed herself against Arya's leg and hissed. The sound was remarkably similar to Earth felines. "They haven't left her side," came a voice from the doorway. Commander JL, the station's Vicari administrator, entered cautiously. His silver-streaked fur and ceremonial marks meant nothing to the cubs. 2 immediately positioned themselves between him and Arya. "Commander," Keleth acknowledged, "this is unprecedented." "The attack happened in Residential Section 7, JL explained. 3 Krell raiders breached the shelter during evacuation. They found the cubs hiding in a storage room." His ears drooped. Arya Ven was returning from her engineering shift. She heard them crying. Kaleth continued his scan while the cubs watched. "Her calcium levels are depleted. Bone density compromised. She should be in agonizing pain." "I am," Arya said with a weak smile. "I'm just really good at not showing it." "She held a plasma rifle meant for someone twice her size," JL continued. "The recoil should have shattered her shoulders. She killed 2 raiders and drove the 3rd into retreat. When security arrived, they found her collapsed in front of the storage room door. The cubs were untouched." He paused. "She'd positioned herself as the last line of defense." "I just did what anyone would do," Arya protested. "No," JL said quietly. "You did what a human would do." A chime indicated someone requesting entry. The door slid open and Lieutenant Corvex, the security chief, stepped in. His voice, naturally booming, filled the room. "Commander, we've completed the investigation." 6 cubs exploded into snarling fury. Torin lunged forward, placing himself between the lieutenant and Arya. The smallest cub leaped onto the bed itself, shaking with aggression. The others formed a wall of fur and fangs. Corvex froze, his forearms raised in surprise. "What in the—" "Lower your voice," JL snapped. The effect was immediate. As the room's volume decreased, the cubs' aggression ebbed. They remained alert but ceased their threat display. Arya reached out and stroked Torin's head. "It's okay. He's a friend." "Protective," Corvex's translator conveyed his astonishment at the appropriate volume. "Commander, these cubs tried to attack me." "To them," Dr. Callis said, fascination overcoming caution. "You're a large, loud potential threat approaching their injured pack member." He adjusted his scanner. Their stress hormones spike specifically in response to raised voices near Arya. They've formed a trauma-bonded protective unit with her at the center. She saved our lives, Torin said suddenly. His young voice carried absolute conviction. When the bad ones came, she stood in front of us. She got hurt protecting us. He looked up at Arya with eyes holding too much understanding for a child. No one will hurt her while we're here. Torin, Arya's voice was gentle. No one here wants to hurt me. They might by accident by not knowing. So we watch. We protect like you protected us. Jael moved slowly until he was kneeling at the cub's level. Younglings, Arya Ven is a hero of the Vikari people. Your parents are being brought back from the frontier. But Arya needs rest. Proper medical care. We'll be quiet. The smallest cub piped up. We'll be so quiet. But we're not leaving. And they didn't. Over the following weeks, as Arya recovered, the cubs maintained their vigil. Station personnel learned to approach slowly, speak softly, and never raise their voices in her presence. Those who forgot were met with a wall of snarling cubs that was equal parts adorable and terrifying. Physical therapy sessions became group activities. When Arya struggled through painful exercises, 6 cubs did matching movements alongside her, their encouragement taking the form of determined chirps. When their parents finally arrived, the reunion was joyous and complicated. When Torin's mother tried to pull him away to give Arya space, the cub planted his feet and refused. I need to guard her, he insisted. Your human doesn't need guarding anymore. She's safe. Torin looked at his mother, then at Arya. She stood in front of the bad ones for us. We stand in front of everyone for her. That's how pack works. Arya, still weak but recovering, felt tears sting her eyes. She tried to explain she wasn't part of their pack, that she was just an engineer who had done what was necessary. But watching Torin refuse to leave, seeing the loyalty in 6 pairs of young eyes, she understood something profound. They had saved each other. It's all right, Arya said softly. They can visit whenever they want. But visit wasn't the word that stuck. For years beyond, Arya Ven carried an unusual distinction. She was the only human in known space with a permanent Vikari honor guard. 6 cubs who grew into proud adults but never forgot the lesson they had learned. A human who refused to yield stood between them and death. No one raised their voice around her. Not then. Not ever. They wouldn't dare. Not with her pack watching.